All over the world, people want democracy. In countries rich and poor, in countries democratic or less democratic, there is a strong support for the concept of democracy.
The International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance supports democracy worldwide. The Swedish-based intergovernmental organization has representatives from 25 member states and is dedicated to strengthening democratic institutions and processes at global, regional and country levels.
International IDEA is an observer to the United Nations, and we work a lot with different parts of the UN family, bringing our expertise to the table to inform discussions and influence assistance programs of the United Nations. We're actually quite strong on our position that we don't want to define democracy, but we have sort of two basic principles that should underpin any democracy, and that is first and foremost popular control over decision making, and secondly equality among citizens in the exercise of that control. And based on those two principles, democracy can take many forms and needs to be rooted in the realities of any given country.
International IDEA works in 4 areas: electoral processes, constitutional processes, political party systems, and the linkages between democracy and development.
First of all, we generate comparative knowledge. The second way we do things is we seek to influence the policies and actions of development actors, of democracy assistance actors, and of countries in the way they strive to improve democracy. Much related to that, we do assist, thirdly, in the building of democracy, in reforming political systems, electoral laws, electoral management bodies, reviewing constitutions, etc.
The main regions of operation for International IDEA are Asia, Latin America and Africa.
Our work in Africa focuses a lot on the need to strengthen institutions. Africa has a lot of democracies that are fairly young and fairly weak and at times unstable, and strengthening institutions like electoral management bodies is a very important undertaking there. And then we work with political parties and other actors, also with a strong focus on Africa's poverty problem, because there, more than anywhere else, if democracy doesn't deliver better lives for people, democracy will not be sustainable. Much of what we do in Latin America is to work with political parties. Latin America has fairly well-established democracies, but they have profound challenges in making the political system deliver. Asia is the region where we are now gearing up. We are currently strongly engaged in Nepal in support of the constitutional process there, with a country coming out of civil war and autocracy, trying to chart a course towards democracy.
One key project of the Institute has been to produce a report about development and democracy on behalf of the European Union and the Swedish government.
The most important thing about the consultations we have led on the role of the European Union in democracy building is that we have brought a completely new approach to the table, where regional organizations, partners of the European Union in other parts of the world, have been asked to tell us, when you look at Europe, what do you see? So it's a kind of peer review of the European Union from the Global South.
The Institute's key achievement has been to professionalize the field of elections and to establish an international standard for electoral processes.
We have observed that throughout the years, governments are obsessed with elections when they happen, but they're not so obsessed with the electoral process and what happens between elections. People feel frustrated and let down by democratic institutions, by political parties, by parliaments, by governments, because they don't see results in their daily lives. Today, there is a higher comfort level for autocrats in many parts of the world. And I think that is because there are very successful alternatives to democracy out there, primarily China and other Asian tiger economies, that have done extremely well on the economic front, but that don't exercise democracy. I think there is a profound need for a continued dialogue between regions and between regional organizations of the world on how democracy can be improved.
Democracy and development is the topic this morning.
We shouldn't shy away from realizing that there are big challenges out there in individual countries and in global trends, and those challenges need to be addressed, and there is a need for governments and for international actors to do more to support and sustain democracy.